It is week 5 in New Orleans, and the Saints return to the Dome, determined to turn their season around. At 0-4, the record doesn't tell the whole story. The Saints defense is battled every week, and now the challenge is finding consistency on offense with quarterback Spencer Rattler at the controls. The Giants come in looking to build on last week's win, but they'll walk into one of the toughest environments in football. For the Saints, it's about urgency, execution, and protecting home turf today. Welcome in. It is Saints Game Day Live from here at the Caesars Superdome. I'm Stan Verrett along with former Saints linebacker and 2009 Super Bowl champion Scott Shanley. Scott, great to see you again. Yep. All around the city, you can feel the energy and the urgency. Saints fans want to win today. Hope they can get it against the Giants. Giants coming in 1-3, got their first win of the season against the Chargers, who were 3-0 last week when the Giants beat them. First start for Jackson Dart, the rookie quarterback from Mississippi. So let's start there. How do the Saints deal with him?
Yeah, he's a really good player. Obviously, he went in the first round, played really good last week, more with his legs and his arm, like a rookie quarterback would. You're not putting a lot on his arm. But I think one of the keys to today's game is the crowd noise. I think the Dome, the Who Dat Nation, they have an opportunity to get after a young rookie quarterback making his first NFL start on the road. That noise that he's going to face this week is a dramatically different story than what he had last week at home in the friendly confines of Jersey.
Only threw for 111 yards, did get one touchdown through the air, but he also presents a threat on the ground. He ran it 10 times for 54 yards and scored on a 15-yard scamper. So how does that factor into dealing with him?
Yeah, it makes playing defense tough. Anytime you play a quarterback who has legs, you get into those 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 manageable situations where defensively, when you're playing a pocket passer, you're not worried about the legs. He can pull the ball down and escape. He scored a touchdown last week, so he will utilize his legs. Young quarterbacks, they revert to the legs very quick when their number one option isn't open, and his number one option is out of the game and out of the season with Malik Neighbors, who went down last week with a season-ending injury. So that'll dramatically change how the Giants attack the Saints as well.
So what do they do now without Neighbors? Neighbors got 35% of their targets through the air. That's a really big number for one player. So now what do they do?
Yeah, I mean, they have to spread the ball around. They got to go to their tight ends. They got to throw the ball to the backs out of the backfield. Because, what they're doing right now is they're trying to run the ball inside the tackles. There's 32nd in the league in running the ball outside the tackles. They're not good on the perimeter. Scadaboo, rookie running back, he's more of an inside power runner, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type thing. But they are throwing the ball to him in the backfield as well. So they're going to have to spread the wealth. Malik Neighbors is a special player. And to lose that production, they're going to have to do it by committee.
Neighbors, 1,204 yards, 7 touchdowns last year. He's out for the season after tearing a knee ligament. So now it's up to Darius Slayton. Looks like he's going to be their number one option with Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot. What challenge do those guys present?
Yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson, he's a smaller slot receiver, but he's really quick in the slot. So whoever's playing nickel, linebacker, they're going to work those intermediate areas. And Slayton's been a really good possession receiver in this league. They're really kind of missing a deep threat, an over the top, take the top off type of thing. But Hyatt out of Tennessee is a big receiver. They're going to get the ball to Theo Johnson, big tight end. They like that matchup. He's a lot like Juwan Johnson is for the Saints. Big, tall guy who can run. So you have to watch those intermediate throws and the runs with the quarterback's legs today.
They've also started trying to incorporate Jalen Hyatt into the mix there. He was their 3rd-round pick in 2023. Only played 35 offensive snaps so far this season. He could be a guy who could move the ball downfield. They worked him in practice this week. They don't really know what role he's going to play, but could be another guy to keep an eye on for the Saints.
There's no doubt he will be a bigger factor in this Giants offense than he has been to date. Getting up to speed, but also he's been a little hindered by the fact that Malik Neighbors is so good. When Malik Neighbors is 30-some% of your offense, 35% of your offense, a lot of these younger players are missing out on some play time. So there's no doubt he's going to be a bigger factor in today's game, and they will probably try to get him behind the secondary a time or two because the Saints are going to load the box to stop this inside running game.
All right, so no Chase Young again for the Saints in terms of the pass rush, which it's been a bright spot so far this season, and Quincy Riley making the start at corner. So now you've got 2 young guys back there with Sanker and Riley. So what are the keys for them in adjusting to the NFL?
Yeah, well, you need experience, and the only way to get experience, you can get all experience you want in practice. There's a different thing when the lights come on. So I think Riley's been doing a good job. He's been incrementally getting more reps. Last week played against the Bills as much as he's played, and I think he's been doing a really good job. He's a physical corner. He tackles well. Sanker's done an outstanding job. He started for 2 games in a row, and you can see the maturity and the growth from 2 weeks ago to last week, playing on the road at the Bills, getting that interception, flying around the field. He covers a lot of ground. So I think when you have him back there in that middle field safety, he can go and he can play the deep ball. He did that. He's been playing very well. Sanker's been playing really good at that safety position.
Another thing to keep in mind, the Chargers lost to the Giants last week, but Chargers linebacker Tuli Pelotu had 4 sacks. himself. And they sacked Jackson Dart, sacked the Giants quarterback 6 times. Russell Wilson did come in for a couple of plays, and they sacked him too. So the Saints need to find out where Thule was coming from and bring the pressure from that area, because apparently it worked 4 times.
Anytime you have stats like that, pressure on the quarterback is the name of the game in the NFL. There's a reason why tackles are paid so much, and there's a reason why defensive ends are paid so much. It's about protecting the quarterback, and obviously the quarterbacks, the franchise quarterbacks, are paid a lot of money. So anytime guys are producing with that type of production in the pressure game and the hits on the quarterback, you have to account for them and adjust your offense.
So it could be an opportunity for some of the Saints edge rushers to get after Dart the way the Chargers did last week. Also, another rookie for the Giants who's really come along is Cam Scatterboot, the running back from Arizona State, really productive player in college. And now he's starting to show some signs in the NFL. Last week, 25 carries, 79 yards, 2 catches for 11 yards against the Chargers. And you figure he's going to get a real workload today.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. I think coming into the league, a lot of people thought maybe Cam was going to be that short yardage back. You know, he was going to be the second back. He's become the workhorse. 25 carries. He's getting a ton of touches in the run game and the pass game. He's done a good job, not so much on the perimeter runs. They've struggled perimeter runs, and that's really not the name of his game. But he's going to put his head inside in that A and B gap and put his head down. Linebackers have to be ready because he's stout. He's going to fight forward. He's going to drive those legs. He's going to fall forward. Every time you see him run, he falls forward. So I think it's going to take all 11 guys on defense. When he's running inside the tackles, you got to get a lot of guys there to hold him back and push him back.
5'9", 220 pounds. But here's a stat that you need to know about Cam Scatterboot. 181 yards on the ground this season, 145 of them after contact.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That just says everything what he's about. And I think a lot of people got confused by watching him in Arizona State, thinking he was a short yardage, didn't have the speed. This guy's the #1 running back in the NFL right now, and he's their featured guy. So you have to account for him wherever he is. And he's done a good job. This is a little thing, but it's a big thing. He does a good job in pass protection. When the linebackers get him one-on-one in the bull rush, it's hard to bull rush that guy. And he's done a good job as a rookie. Those are little things that are hard for rookies to get up to speed on, but he's already playing like he's in his 3rd and 4th year.
And he can catch the ball out of the backfield too. So he's a real every down back because he can run it, he can catch it, and he can pass protect. So he really doesn't have to leave the field. So Saints are going to have to keep an eye on Scatterboot. Let's talk about when the Saints have the ball, their offense against the Giants defense. What's the key?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, as soon as you say Giants defense, I think of that front four. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter was the 1st-round pick out of Penn State. Brian Burns, who is one of the best, if not the best, you could argue, pass rusher in the NFL right now. Outstanding player. Him and Myles Garrett, I think, are in that conversation. But you have to have a plan for these guys, especially on 3rd down. We used to call it NASCAR package. We're going to put all the fast defensive ends on the field. We're going to take the D tackles off the field. So when you see those 3 guys on the field on 3rd down, that ball has to come out quick. You have to have a plan for them because it's hard to block those guys one-on-one.
Yeah, Burns leading the NFL, tied for the lead right now with 5 sacks so far, and Carter and Thibodeau, as you mentioned, also effective pass rushers. Giants also had 2 interceptions last week against LA. And so they're going to be looking for takeaways. So ball protection, it's been a strength for Spencer Rattler so far. It's going to have to be again today.
There's no doubt. And I think, you look at the record, and the record's not what you want it to be. They played good against a lot of people who have the Bills in the Super Bowl. So I think there's little things. It's about winning, but there's little things they're doing that are giving them a chance to be in these games against some of these talented teams. So keep taking care of the football. If you can win the turnover takeaway ratio every week, you give yourself a huge chance to win these NFL games. If you're +1, you give yourself a 70% chance of winning NFL football games. It's just about taking care of the football. But defensively, I'd like to see them take the ball away more and get a little more pressure.
All right. So the Saints ran for 189 yards last week against the Bills. Alvin Kamara, a big part of that. Kendre Miller, a big part of that. And Spencer Rattler using his legs when plays broke down. I felt like they started to establish an identity of who they want to be. Run the ball, set up Spencer Rattler for play action. Did you get that sense?
There's no doubt. I think that identity is what Kellen Moore wants to be. I think after the 49ers game, they said, we need to stop throwing the ball 40 times a game. We need to get to run the football. They tried it. Seattle game got away from them early, so you had to throw the ball more than you wanted to. But last week, I think this is the identity of the Saints. They want to be a 50-50 offense. Get Kamara, get Kendre Miller. Spencer Rattler using his legs last week was awesome. It's so hard to defend quarterbacks who can take off and run. And if he can just do that 6, 7, 8 times a game, it keeps defenses on their heels. So there's no doubt this team wants to be a run team first. And like I said, today's the Giants defense, their perimeter run defense is last in the league. They are not good at facing the outside runs. That should spell good for number 41 and Kendre Miller on those outside runs.
Yeah, the Giants number 30 against the run, number 31 against the pass. So if the Saints can use the run, the pass should be there as well. Earlier this week after practice, Aaron Summers caught up with Coach Kellen Moore. Here are his thoughts on the Saints getting ready for the Giants.
Coach, how have you seen the momentum from the game against the Bills building at practice this week?
Yeah, certainly we feel like there were some positives coming out of the Buffalo game. We didn't reach the ultimate goal, but there's progress in all three phases. We were right there towards the end, and we're excited to just keep progressing and find the way to finally get one of these wins.
The Giants also struggle against stopping the run. How important is it to get that established early in this game?
Yeah, certainly last week I felt like that had a lot to do with our success early on in offense. Ability to run the football, kind of control the line of scrimmage, control the game. Again, that'll be a formula similar for this game.
With Kendre Miller, he has 124 rushing yards. 104 have come after initial contact. When you have somebody like that can just break tackles, paired with Alvin Kamara, what does that do for you as a play caller?
Yeah, we feel like we got a 1-2 punch that's really, really talented with Alvin, obviously the playmaker that he is, and then Kendre's done an awesome job. He's earned more opportunities, more roles. He's just doing a really good job.
With the shuffling that you're going to have on the offensive line yet again, how key is it that you have Eric McCoy there anchoring things down? Yeah,
Eric still leads it. He runs the show. He's the leader of that group. Obviously, we've had to navigate a few moving pieces the first few weeks of the season. We'll do that again this week. But, they've done an excellent job building it each and every week.
Rookie Jonas Sanker comes up with the team's first interception. How aggressive do you want the defense in being as far as trying to make more turnovers?
Yeah, we're close, and so we got one last week. We felt like we were close on a couple more, and we just got to have that game where we can hopefully get a couple turnovers. Those have huge impacts on these games, and we're going to have that multi-turnover game, and that'll shift this thing for us.
I know quarterback Jackson Dart's going to come in here confident after the win over the Chargers. What do you have to do to make sure you show him that it's not going to be that easy here, make him a little uncomfortable?
Yeah, Jackson's going to be a really good player in this league, and he was off to a great start last week. He beat the Chargers, who was a team that was playing really good football. You're going to have to make him work post-snap, pre-snap. You have to make him work throughout the game and challenge him in a lot of different ways.
Without wide receiver Malik Neighbors available for him, how does that change your focus of your game plan?
Yeah, I mean, they still got a lot of other pieces, and they'll do an excellent job of scheming it up. There's still a lot of unknown with Jackson only his second start, so they'll play some different ways, some different styles that may be different to us. But they got some players. Wandell in the slot will still be a huge impact player, especially on third downs.
All right, this is Scattaboo. Cam Scattaboo. Do you have a player comp for him?
I don't. He's one of a kind. We loved him in the draft. He was a really fun guy to get to know as he went through the draft process, and obviously having a heck of a start to his career.
How much of a focus does he have to be because of what he can do on the ground and through the air?
Yeah, he's just a really physical player, and he can wear you down, and his play style is everything everyone wants in this game, and so he's doing a really good job.
All right. Main thing you have to focus in on to get the win this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be about the ball. It's going to be about creating turnovers, protecting the football.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
We have a special guest with us here on Saints Game Day Live. Recognizable to any Saints fan. He's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's a Saints Hall of Famer, Saints Ring of Honor member, and one of the great offensive tackles in the history of the National Football League. Willie Roaf with us here. Hey, man, great to see you, Willie.
It's great to be back, man. It's great to be back in the dome, feel the energy of the fans, getting ready, see Scott. We were neighbors, my kids and his family live across the street, so I always get a good feeling when I come back to New Orleans.
Yeah, fans are excited. Everybody walking by, Willie. What are the emotions you feel when you come back?
Just going back to getting drafted, coming here, getting on that field, representing, and all them years we had some struggles too. You remember that, but we battled, and we always took a lot of pride stepping on that field, doing the best I could, especially in this dome.
I think one of the cool things for me and being here, which Coach Payton, when he started in 2006, was Coach Payton made a big point of bringing guys like Willie around, and all these different former veteran players who are such an integral part of this organization. And we have a couple of young guys now, Kelvin Banks, Fuaga, two special tackles. What advice would you give to young guys starting in the league? I mean, coming from La Tech to being in the Pro Football Hall of Fame now, your journey ended where everybody wants it to end. What advice would you give to young guys in their position?
Put in the work, work on the fundamentals, but whatever you need to work on, explosion or coming off the ball, especially that. We don't see a lot of linemen, especially a lot of tackles firing off the ball. If you want to slow those defensive ends down in the running game and stuff, you got to come off the ball and get after them. So
wear them down in the run game.
Wear them down in the run game so then you slow them down in the pass game.
Absolutely.
And we don't see as many explosive, with the RPO stuff, the guys coming out of college aren't as explosive. So I would tell these tackles to make sure working on dropping those hips and working on doing explosive stuff, especially as they get further in their career. Because you see the teams that are pretty good, those linemen come off the ball pretty good.
The Philadelphia's of the world.
Exactly. Yes.
What have you seen from those guys so far, starting with Fuaga?
I seen him. I seen him last year. I talked to him. Got good technique, good hands. I like Kevin too. He's got real good feet, real good explosion. But like I said, I want to see the explosion coming off the ball. I think moving Penning inside was good. So McCoy, you keep those guys healthy. The main thing is staying healthy. You know, we had our best season in New Orleans. Our offensive line and defensive line stayed healthy the whole year. We lost the quarterback. We lost Ricky Williams. We lost some guys up front, but you know, Joe Johnson set the tone for the defense. And our offensive line with Jerry Fontenot, we came out, we played every week, and we won that playoff game because of what we did up front.
You know, having Willie up here, we used to, when we go to away games, we would kind of look at all the ring of honors of other stadiums. And our coach Joe Bitt would always point out guys and talk about guys. I tell you what, the Saints Ring of Honor is one of the toughest Ring of Honors in all of football to crack. There are not many names, so to have Willie next to us and his name up in that Ring of Honor, obviously a Pro Football Hall of Fame member. You know, I still have my '77 Willie Roaf shirt and hat that we wore when we went to your induction. Sean brought us up there because we played in the game, but do you ever just reflect back to being a kid who was at Louisiana Tech? You said you played basketball, then you're a high draft pick with the Saints, and just when it all came, you were standing up on that podium in Canton. Did it all kind of just flash before your eyes of how far you came?
Yeah, well, it was real special, especially with my dad being up there with me, you know, walking me up. You know, my dad played at Michigan State back in the late 50s, early 60s. Never really got a chance to play. So having, you know, when you go in there, your family name goes in there. So having your family name goes in there is special. But I did understand the responsibility that comes with that, and making sure I conduct myself and treat people like you want to be treated, especially now in this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about what this team is facing right now. You were on some teams that got off to some slow starts. They're 0-4. How do you keep the focus? How do you keep doing what you need to do when the results aren't there?
You just got to keep going in there, getting the film study in, getting on the field, working on your fundamentals. It's going to come down to a few plays. Who's going to be mentally stronger? Who's not going to make those stupid penalties? It's different situations, and then controlling the clock and not turning the ball over. So, you know, I think that's going to be the key today. If we can establish the run and not turn the ball over and keep it honest, then keep it a clean game, then I think it's going to be close to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think in this league, it's so even that it's about not beating yourself, making the opponent actually beat you and not beating yourself. And I think the more football you play, the more you realize, just like winning's a habit, just like losing's a habit. The hard thing in this league is that check is the same whether you win or lose. But as a competitor, you got to want to win and I think this team is close to turning that corner. They just need some success. A win today, and I think you'll see them turn that corner and be on the up.
And you can't question the effort. You know?
No, absolutely.
You know,
not.
The Seattle game was, you know, you go out there, you know, it's really like 10 o'clock in the morning for those guys. Your body adjusting to playing. You know how it is on the road. I hated playing out there. The air was different out there. But you know, you gotta come in. You gotta stay focused. But like you said, the check is fine. But at a certain point, your pride has to take over. And this is the competitive nature. This is your home field. So, like you said, you want to see those veteran leadership guys, Alvin, Cam, DeMario. You know, they step up and make sure these young men know how important it is to represent your home turf. Because your pride, hey, regardless of what happened in the dome, I wanted to make sure I'm getting out to somebody on Sunday. You know, I'm getting out to somebody on Sunday, and after the game, he's gonna be like, Willie, you know, we won the game, but you handed it to me. So that feels good when guys come up to you, even when you're struggling, that you did your job.
Yep, no doubt.
All right, Willie, always great to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoy the game.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Willie Roaf, it ended the way he wanted it to end, with the plaque in Canton, Ohio. Another young Saint just beginning his career, off to a great start last week against the Bills. Jonas Sanker got his first career interception. He spoke with Aaron Summers in the What's Brewing Community Spotlight, presented by Community Coffee.
Welcome to What's Brewing, presented by Community Coffee. Aaron Summers here alongside rookie safety Jonas Sanker. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You have made quite a splash here the last couple games, getting your first interception of your career against reigning NFL MVP and Josh Allen. When you are in that moment and you know you're making the pick, what's going through your mind?
Just, you know, being in the right place at the right time. And not really getting too big on the moment. It was a really cool moment to think about afterward, but, on the field, it's kind of, we're still down. So, we still need to find a way to fight back. So I'm thinking about, we need to go get points out of this. We need to keep holding them. So that's really all I'm thinking in the moment. I forgot to even run to the end zone and celebrate.
You might be flying under the radar a little bit, but starting to make some waves here. It's something that seems like has been part of your journey throughout, from high school to playing in Virginia to getting drafted. You kind of have that underdog mentality.
Being at Virginia, kind of always had that underdog mentality. Never really were a powerhouse. So, we were expected to lose a lot of games. So that underdog mentality has kind of stuck with me throughout that whole time.
What's fueled your drive then?
I would say just, a natural competitive nature and just kind of that being who I am, but also just a desire to just always want to grow and be better and just be the best. And then on top of that, having a reason, why I play, being, for my family, being for, all the things I care about.
You mentioned that Justin Reed, being the vet in your room, has really been helpful in helping you understand the game at this level, how to watch film. What's been the biggest thing that you've been able to lean on him for?
I think just his awareness in situations, and obviously he's played football for a long time, so every week, when we're facing like a new coordinator, he kind of already has a layout of exactly what kind of plays he's expecting from this coordinator, because either he's played them once, he's played them multiple times, so he has a very good understanding of what we're going up against and what to expect. And then on top of that, just kind of key little tricks, whether it's how to disguise and throw people off better, just little things. So for me, it's just paying attention as much as I can and just kind of, add in those little tips and, tricks to my game just to kind of, make myself better.
What's been your favorite part about being a part of the Saints team?
I would say just, getting to know so many new people is really cool. And it's fun to just, have that strong connection with the people. And, those are the people you come to work with every day. So it just, makes it a lot easier to show up and kind of have a smile on your face and enjoy coming to work every day.
And this weekend, it is the Giants, quarterback Jackson Dart making his second start. What gives you confidence that this is the weekend that the Saints are going to get the win?
Just, constantly the growth that's been happening all year, and just the, there's no wavering of the confidence. I think our team is still very confident in, who we are. And I think with that mentality and, the consistency of getting better, I think, this is the week that we're going to be able to put it all together.
I like it. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been What's Brewing with Jonas Sanker, brought to you by Community Coffee.
I feel like that young man has a really bright future, Jonas Sanker.
Oh, he's done an outstanding job getting thrown into the fire early on in his career, but that's why they drafted him. That's why they expect you to play and expect him to start a little bit earlier, but making plays. He's making plays. He'll have that interception ball forever that he took off Josh Allen last week. So those are little things that help give confidence to young players.
Yep. Pass breakup and the interception on consecutive plays really gave us a taste of what's to come from Jonas Sanker. Let's talk about the recipe for success for today. And I think we got to start with starting fast. I saw a stat. The Saints have not played an offensive snap with the lead so far this season. So what does starting fast do for you?
Well, starting fast, it changes the entire game plan for how a team defends you or how they attack you. So it's when you're playing behind the entire game, you're throwing the ball more than you want to. Defensively, you're defending the run a lot more because the other team's trying to run out the clock. So this team, if they can get out to a lead and play from a lead, I think it's a completely different game plan than what you've seen so far through the first 4 weeks.
And gets the crowd hyped up.
Absolutely.
Because the fans are ready to explode. They just need the Saints to do what it takes to get them excited. The Saints did score in their opening drive last week against Buffalo, so that's a good sign. That tied the game at 7, but hope to get out to a lead in this game. Secondly, in the recipe for success, run the ball. Did that effectively against Buffalo last week. Again, 189 yards on the ground.
No doubt. I like the identity, and I think everybody's kind of said it. You have an offensive line, you put a lot of draft capital in. Spencer hasn't been turning the football over. Your running game is the strength of this offense. So the more you can do it, and again, it ties into starting fast. Start fast, you can run the ball more, you can call more run plays. But they ran the ball pretty well against a team that a lot of people are picking to go to the Super Bowl in the Buffalo Bills. So it's just about staying consistent, getting ahead of the chains. 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5, that gives Spencer a better chance on 3rd downs. And I think Alvin's been playing really good football. Year 9 as a running back, to be able to look the way he's been looking. Kendre's been getting more touches. I love those two as a dual threat in the backfield.
Saints was better than 5 yards per carry last week against that Bills defense, so they hope to continue that. And then the third ingredient in the recipe is stopping the run.
Yeah.
Because you have a rookie quarterback on the road without his number 1 target.
Yep.
So if you're the Giants, Brian Daboll, he's going to try to run the ball to help him out.
Absolutely. It's going to be. We may set the record for runs in a game today. I don't know the way we're sounding up here. Nobody wants to see teams run the ball, but there's no doubt that I think the Giants know that their key to success is protecting their young quarterback, not turning the football over on the road. And Cam Spadway has been playing really good football. Inside the tackles, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You run it 4 times, that's 12 yards, it's a first down. That's the way they've been playing offensively, trying to stay ahead of the chains and giving their young quarterback a chance. So it's almost an identical game plan from both teams.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of who can execute it better. You guys both have the same idea of how you want to win the game. Now it's about the players making plays.
Yeah, and if the Saints can run the ball, keep Barnes and Thibodeau,
No doubt.
and Abdul Carter from wrecking the entire game plan. All right, let's talk about the Saints inactive. Chase Young, we kind of figured he wouldn't be ready. That calf strain still a problem for him. Cesar Ruiz still out. Isaac Yiadom, we mentioned Quincy Riley starting. Yiadom out this week. Devin Neal, running back, out. Xavier Truss on the offensive line out, and Christian Boyd out. But Scott, we got some great news.
Some good news, yeah.
From the tight end room.
Yep.
Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill, both active this week. Let's start with Taysom. I mean, what does he add to this offense?
Well, Taysom Hill, tight end, quarterback, everything. I mean, the ovation that you're going to see when number 7 either runs out of the tunnel if they're announcing the offense, or just when he steps on the field is going to be amazing. And deservedly so. Taysom Hill has changed the game. You know, there's a lot of teams around the country, high school, college, NFL, that have Taysom packages. He created roles for guys at every level of football. So I think Taysom's a special football player. And when he comes out on the field today, the excitement in the crowd, I hope it festers into the game, and I think it will. He's such a spark plug for this team.
Coming off an ACL, how much can we really expect in his first game back?
Well, you want to be cautious with him, obviously. I think he's done all the medical work. He's obviously been cleared, been practicing it up. He's been running full speed, changing direction, feels good. But there's always a confidence standpoint from getting hit in the game. He's going to have to get that first hit. Give him an easy inside run, something that isn't too crazy. Let him get that first hit, get the rust off of him. But I'm excited about seeing how Coach Moore utilizes Taysom Hill. Is he going to play tight end? Are they going to give him reverse passes? Are they going to put him at quarterback? So it's exciting to me that Kellen Moore is one of the great offensive minds in the league, how he's going to use number 7.
Listed as a quarterback, but I think his real position is football player.
That's what they said.
And his impact is difference maker.
There's no doubt about it.
And then Foster Moreau coming back as well. I mean, it's been a heavy workload for Juwan Johnson. Jack Stoll's done some things backing him up, but how much does it mean having Foster Moreau back too?
Well, I think Foster's another one of those guys who's in the locker room. Everybody respects him. They respect his work ethic. They respect what he's done in this league. And I think the one thing that Foster can do in the run game is take some wear and tear off Juwan. Juwan's obviously a mismatch problem in the passing game. But I think bringing in Foster, running 2 tight end sets, 3 tight end sets, wearing down a defense, getting big in the line of scrimmage, I think that's where Foster really adds to this offense.
Yeah, if you want to run the ball, you got to have guys up front who can clear the way. And so we will see. So Foster Moreau back, Taysom Hill back, Saints looking to run the ball, stop the run, and limit Jackson Dart from adding to his NFL resume today. Feels like it's time for a win.
I feel it. Today's the day.
All right. You can join Scott and Aaron for the post-game show after the game. Enjoy the game, and thanks for watching Saints Game Day Live.